One moment, please. Okay, so Michael's going to move his avatar so he's not sleeping.
You think?
It would probably be a very good idea.
There you go. How's
Okay,
that?
there he is. Okay, and my avatar is like 30 years younger than I am in real life, and I plan on keeping that feeling for the rest of my life. And behind us is Michael's service pictures. And we'll just wait a few minutes before we start.
I'll do a quick introduction. My name is Colonel Mike Burrows, retired colonel of 37 years. I think most of you know me out there that have joined and participated. I've met on RP. We're looking forward to the demo.
Okay, we do actually have these demos on video, but they're about an hour long. And for each different demo, we have different questions and different focus areas. And we find that the interactivity between participants and the webinar is much more meaningful. And that's why we take the time to do this. All right, you say when, Michael, I'm going to begin. Okay. So what you are looking at is one of our virtual regions. We have about 40 of them. And anything you can imagine, we can build in a virtual environment. My background, one second. My background is I was a global turnaround consultant serving as interim CEO, CFO of financially distressed businesses for over 30 years, bringing them back to profitability, which included extensive training of management and employees, how to increase productivity and profits. Hit the 50-year mark quite a few years ago and decided I wanted more out of life than living on an airplane and being home 2 days a month. And what I had realized was the common denominator in all these turnarounds, which was in over 35 industries, was very high turnover in entry-level positions. And we have, I have a disability, my son has MS, my family has all kinds of disabilities, and dawned on me that people with disabilities, especially those that are paralyzed, did not have a level playing field and were not given opportunities where their disabilities were not looked at and their abilities were the main focus. So I had just been introduced to virtual worlds, and back then it was Second Life, which today is an extremely adult, social-based virtual world. We do use a private region only for demos and marketing because there is extensive content. What has happened, I started the business, this is probably about 10 years. I've been working with virtual worlds for about 10 years. And what I did was I built a virtual world that was an office park so that people as an avatar, so you're looking at my avatar to the left, Michael's to the right. So everyone has this ideal image of what they'd like to look like in real life. And in a virtual world, you're able to project that. What that does is it increases self-esteem immediately, even if, this is virtual reality. So going into an environment, if normally you're shy or you're an introverted or you do not have a social life, when you're feeling the feelings of the avatar, which does happen, I would say probably 90% of the time, because it's immersive and it's interactive, your self-confidence is increased, and then all of a sudden things that you have a second thought about in real life, you're thinking that maybe you can do this because you're feeling so much better about yourself. So we ended up with over 500 employees. Every employee had a disability, and we had severely injured veterans that were working for us. The process works so well by providing a community environment, which is not only training and project work, where we tried bringing offshore outsourcing back home to special needs Americans. We provided the support. We had non-denominational spiritual guidance, which was not a religion, but we just believed in a higher power, similar to a 12-step program, and also had socializing and recreation, education. When you put all of these little parts together into one community, you're going to be providing something that many people do not have in their real lives. And the objective was to train individuals with disabilities, help them get off government assistance, and help them provide for themselves financially and actually have a social life if they could not get out of had difficulty getting out of their house. Again, anything you can do in real life, you can do in a virtual world. So think about a veteran that is paraplegic, and he or she can come in as an avatar and feel the feelings of walking, of running, of skiing, of driving a motorcycle, driving a car, navigating a ship, going to an amusement park and going on a roller coaster and feel the feelings of your stomach turn as you're going down that hill. One of the most important things we realized also in the community was there were many people that were referred to us that should not have been, unfortunately, because they had some severe emotional issues that we were afraid would jeopardize a client. And we had clients like Walgreens. So these people, some of them went off medication, some were severely depressed, schizophrenia, bipolar, and we did not know that until the behavior started showing itself. And unfortunately, but fortunately, we had people that were taking meds or that tried overdosing, and we were actually able to help save their lives by getting through to immediate family and paramedics in record amount of time, just because of how we were set up in our community 24/7 support groups. Once you go through that and you know you're a part of helping someone get past that severe depression and that point in their life, it stays with you forever. Series of events occurred in my life where I had to close a business like 5 years after I started it. It was due to the economy going south and all our purchase orders were pulled. We were paid for training and all the training funds went away. So I had to take the virtual worlds away, and it got some people very upset because for them, this was their whole life, which we learned to provide. We have a domain called AA, which is Avatars Anonymous, which if we see someone slipping into preferring to live in a virtual reality, we can help them get the help they need and find balance in their life. So about a year ago, I became aware of the horrendous rate of suicides from veterans with PTSD and knew that we had solutions, which I just noticed we have a horse to the left, Michael.
That was mine. Sorry.
Thanks for leaving it up here. Anyways, we knew that we could provide services that would help prevent suicides. And so for a year, I was very fortunate to have met, actually it was over 300 senior business management consultants. Over 100 have volunteered their time to help give back and help mentor the veterans. And we have been building this and just went live in November. We have about 30 veterans so far, and I'm in a position now where we're going to start blasting this out. We're bringing companies in, which Michael and I will give you a little explanation of how companies work in this environment. There is no maximum amount of veterans or virtual worlds that we can build. It is unlimited. It is never ending. We have multiple areas where we could have 20 virtual worlds that each one holds 50 participants, avatars. Anything over that, the environment starts lagging. I am fortunately working with several organizations. One is Oculus Rift, which Facebook purchased for, I think it was $2 billion. And the chief scientist, Michael Abrash, I'm working with him to try to get 1,000 headsets donated for our veterans, because what that does is it puts you into the environment, 360-degree immersion. What happens now is while you're working on someone and being interactive in this environment, you'll feel like you're in it. It's just a natural response. You feel the feelings of the avatar. And let me go up into the air so you can see what this looks like. Avatars walk, they fly, as Michael just demonstrated before I got the word out, but that's okay. And we're going to show you some of our buildings and what they're used for. So the building here is a training building. And we have our first client actually starting this month. And Michael, you want to give a little background of that while I show the environment differences?
Sure. So we have a client out of Miami, Florida, that provides Cisco certification and training for veterans. We did a demo for them. They're actually tied to about 138 universities worldwide. We did a demo for them and a demo for their investors. And this is a service in the Miami area that was providing, actual brick and mortar classes down there in the Miami area. And then they turned to 2D type video classes on the internet. And when we showed them the 3D immersive environment, they were really blown away. So the instructor will be able to sit at home and interact with all 20 of his students anywhere in the United States. And they're looking to put on at least 2 to 3 classes a month for this Cisco certification. As you know, IT is a big field right now, and it's a great field for veterans. And so that's what we've worked on. We built them a virtual classroom with 25 seats, which we'll be showing you here in the demo.
Which we're going to right now.
That's where we're headed.
Okay.
And we're pretty excited about getting them started this month.
And then we'll be showing you, this is, it's actually a house that was converted to a training session. Thank you, Marilyn. And I was going to show you we also have a nonprofit, and what we're doing is working with equine and canine rescues to have the animals trained as therapy animals. And this German Shepherd here is, he represents, his name is, did I forget it?
Yeah.
His name is something Rogers. What is the first word?
Is it Ruger or Roger?
No, Roger, something Roger. And he was severely abused as a puppy, which is a horrendous thing. I don't even like to talk about it. And he is actually coming to my home. And my son, who has MS, is going to become a certified trainer instead of doing auto mechanics. That's really making him lose a ton of weight, and he's not doing well. And his lifelong dream was training animals. He's excellent with them. And we're also getting a puppy. And these will go to veterans as therapy dogs, therapy animals. And the reason, Marilyn, I didn't take your teleport, thank you for doing that. I just wanted to show a little bit of downstairs in the media room. So normally we have a lot more furniture in here. We have a bar that the technology is pretty, it blows you away. And it's getting better every year. The more virtual reality is being sent out to for people to understand how it can be used for business, for medical. There's telehealth, telemedicine, e-learning. Nonprofits use this extensively. We're working with a company called Addicted Minds, and we're going to actually be putting rehabs, drug and alcohol rehabs, in a virtual world. So now more people will have the opportunity to become a patient, get the help they need, be in a pre-care and a post-care program, because normally when you go to rehab, you leave the people, you never see them again, or you keep in touch by email. This way, they'll be able to visit their rehab, have aftercare support programs, have weekly or whatever frequency they want of the 12-step program, and group support. All right, now I'm going to be showing you the meeting room, and then Marilyn, if you could teleport me, I would greatly appreciate it. My avatar has an exaggerated animation, so excuse her wiggle. And the animations are, which they all went out of my screen, about 20 or 30 sets of icons that I can program as to what I want her to do when. And this is our media room, where that also turns into a disco, if they still use that word today. Is that what they use, disco? 3 screens at once. The technology, again, is amazing. You can play videos, you can upload PowerPoints, you can upload any type of document, go to any URL. And one of the things we're doing is we have a residential community for active duty. And the family will pick out a model home. The active duty spouse will be able to join their family in this virtual community at any time, participate with the daily or weekly activities, feel as though they're there, being in a supportive role for the children, help children with their homework. They can take them to amusement parks. They can go see a movie. You can go water skiing together, anything you can imagine. And this area with the children will be from 12 years and up. Not a lot of areas we're letting children in, but we feel that this is critical, that it will definitely help reduce PTSD. And also maybe even maybe they won't have PTSD with this type of interaction. We have a doctor that's working with us that will be doing a research paper to be published. So we're very excited about that. And now Marilyn is teleporting me up to a training office. It's the same as Scotty beamed me up in Star Trek. You can teleport from any location within a building, within a region, within virtual worlds. So I'm just going to click on teleport. And she was taking a nap and I caught her. So, hello, Marilyn. So here is a typical training room. And each student has their own desk, which I don't have all the chairs out here yet. And let me get the menu going up on here. So the trainer would be in front, and each person that's working on an individual computer is able to put any URL in. So they could be going through the same type of training manual, or they could be on a reading assignment and reading at different speeds. We're able to do an intranet, and also able to, when I sold this to companies many years ago, the main complaint was, how do I know a remote worker is actually working? So we have software that shows icons of desktop, and at any time you can click on the desktop and automatically see what the employee is working on. This serves not only for supervising, but improving customer service. If a customer service rep has a question they can't answer, instead of a callback, they can immediately click on their supervisor. The supervisor can see their computer, read the notes, and help provide an answer simultaneously. Let me just back up out of here. Okay, Michael, you want to go ahead with, I have to close out a few of these things so the screen does not get cluttered.
Sure, I'd like to, if you don't mind, if you could unmute everybody.
Sure.
Just for a second, because I think I'd like to get a little bit of feedback.
We're early with the feedback tonight.
Well, that's all right, though.
One second.
I'd like to get a little bit of feedback. So,
all right, would you like to do, we have Denzel, Dorian, and Kyle.
Let's go ahead and talk to Kyle first.
Okay, Kyle, I'm muting you. Hello, Kyle. Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you guys.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent, thank you.
So what are your thoughts, Kyle, so far?
Well, so far it's really amazing. I mean, just the technology and the ability that this is. I mean, it looks like a real world.
Yeah.
Right.
And just the things you're talking about, I can definitely see how they can help people.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you can experience right now, because we're going through this product Zoom, computer through a computer, is you don't hear the sounds, okay? So all of these avatars, for instance, in this group, we have Marilyn, myself, and Eileen here in this classroom. We can turn on our chat and communication buttons, and we can talk just like we're in the classroom, just like we're talking now over Zoom. You have that same capability in the virtual world. So it's almost like Skype and the virtual world, sort of like on steroids. And so this classroom right here that we're taking you through, this is the classroom that we've put together for the Miami group that's going to be teaching the Cisco systems. And so, like, for instance, if I was the instructor, I could walk in front of the class, and come in front of the class and face them, and classroom etiquette, people could raise their hand, or they could say, hey, I've got a question. Everybody in the class would be able to have that interaction, and be involved in that classroom environment. So that's why our group down in Miami is very, very excited about this, because it's taking it out of the 2D environment and putting it into a 3D environment where they're actually having communication. But yeah, there's just honestly, it blew me away when I started with the company here in August. Being on Rally Point and trying to get the veterans in that have the PTSD, TBI, MST, or that are severely disabled. But no, I appreciate your feedback so far, and we're going to open it up again at the end for some questions. I'd like to just ask Denzel what his thought is real quick, since he's calling in from long distance.
Okay, 1 second.
Thanks, Kyle.
Okay, Denzel, you're unmuted.
Hey, Denzel.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. What's your thoughts so far?
I'm blown away. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I have never seen anything this real.
Right.
And it's going to get more real within the next year. It's going to be, you can put your real face on the avatar also, although who would want to when you can look any way you want?
Right.
Except for the Colonel. He's the only one that wanted to look like he looks in real life. I couldn't believe it. It took me forever to make his avatar.
Hey, what can I say? The old man. Denzel, where are you calling out of, if you don't mind telling me?
I'm calling out of Kabul, Afghanistan.
Okay. So, and I'm glad you brought that up for the other people listening, because one of the areas that we've built in our virtual world for veterans, just imagine this. We've got what we call our community region. And within our community region, we have about 10 to 11 model homes. I mean, these are awesome homes. I mean, you can go in, you can push buttons, turn on lights.
Turn on your fireplace, close your blinds.
Right. Turn on big screen TVs, watch movies. So just imagine that, you being in Kabul right now, and at the end of the day, and of course I know that it's probably early morning or in the middle of the night right now, but imagine meeting with your entire family, okay, at a pre-described time in this community, in a home, and being able to sit down with them, watch a movie with them, play a card game, play a board game. I mean, even get on one of these computers that we've showed you and do homework with your child. And so our whole intent there is while active duty members are deployed downrange, they can come into world and they can experience this with their families. And we really feel that this is going to decrease the amount of PTSD. You still have a lot of active duty members that have been on multiple deployments, that keep that to themselves, right?
Right.
Due to security clearances, due to the stigma and stuff like that. But we really feel that this bond and keeping them close to their family while they're deployed is going to have a big influence on how they return back to their family.
This is an avenue that will open up a lot of opportunities for the soldier wherever they are, and
Exactly.
this can clearly reduce the stress.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very happy you see that.
Right. The whole thing, that's the whole essence of our program, is to be a stress reliever, to be a good, comfortable place. And the other thing, that we haven't mentioned on our demo is veterans can actually come into our program anonymously. So, for instance, if you didn't want to be known as Denzel, you could have come in as Fred. You can join this program. You can actually even change your voice inflection in the virtual world. So your voice is totally unrecognizable. The other thing is we're not affiliated with the VA. The VA very much wants our technology, believe me. But our big thing here right now is the VA has a little bit of a negative connotation behind it, okay? And the other thing is if a veteran that has TBI or PTSD comes into a program that's being monitored or sponsored by the VA, they could actually lose benefits as they're going through that program. And so our focus right now is, number one, let's help veterans. Let's get them into a program where we can monitor them and, provide an environment where they can reach out to counselors within their various states. And number two, they're not going to lose their VA disability benefits. They're going to continue to get those benefits, but we're going to provide an environment that's going to help them get better.
Right.
And this way they get to choose their counselor. So there's not a counselor assigned. We'll have, say, 10 counselors in one state. They get to interview the counselors to see who they're the most comfortable with. And I know now that there was a law passed, I guess, if a veteran has to wait more than 30 days, they can choose a civilian doctor or a therapist. Is that correct? Anyone? That's what I read.
Yeah, I think it's called the Choice Program.
Yes, yes. Also with the, we haven't even begun to talk about the transitioning and the work opportunity. So,
Oh, yeah. There's so many things, guys, that we need to share with you. But Denzel, hey, thanks for the feedback, buddy. We're going to go ahead and mute you, and Eileen's going to pick up and show you a little bit more about what we're doing with e-commerce, what we're doing with e-learning, and helping transitioning soldiers also as they come off active duty, or, if they're a veteran and they need help.
okay, were you able to send him the newsletter?
Denzel, you have the newsletter, right, that I sent you in the greeting?
I'm not sure. I didn't see it.
Okay, I'll send it to you right now. So,
all right, that just lists all the services that we're bringing on board. So one of the very important services that we're starting immediately, let me mute everyone here, is transitioning. So it is my understanding that active duty for the last 90 days can work on transitioning, meaning I guess they can research jobs and take a certain amount of time to be checking what is available and schooling, etc. So what we want to do is we're going to have virtual call centers and virtual outsourcing for front and back office. It's going to be manned by all veterans and caregivers. We're even going to be providing work for, one second here, let me get up out of here. I'm trying to do too many things at once again, and the brain just does not cooperate. So let me show you one of the largest demo and opportunities that we feel we have, which just happened a few weeks ago. We have a very small company called Verizon. And here is their call center building. And I think they're global. And we provided a demo, and they were so interested that they want to bring this up to upper management, and not only in just call center working, as a Verizon call center, but in telehealth and services for the elderly and services for critically ill children. So every type of industry, they want to understand how they can be the leader of putting this out there for people. And we provide a white label service. That means a company can take this on as their own. Thank you, Marilyn. And we don't need our name in it, because the main thing is we want to help vets. We want to give them help them give a smooth transition. And like I started saying before about the transitioning work, is they could start being trained and actually work. I don't know what the legality is while they're in active duty before they get out. And use this transitioning work as either something to do until they get accustomed to working for civilians, or do it permanently. And it'll be all types of jobs that can be done remotely, from IT support to accounting to sales reps. We're putting a team together of sales reps that are going to be selling to wholesale products for pet food, pet supply industry. And the guy absolutely loves it, the president of the company, because he's helping to support vets. The veterans will be making commissions. We're even talking to politicians. We have a nonprofit and an LLC, so it's okay. And they want to use Virtual World for campaign headquarters, use veterans for fundraising, and the veterans will be paid for their work, and also it will help pay for our sponsorships, which we just reduced dramatically, which Michael's going to tell you all about that. Sponsorships.
Yes. Okay. So what we're doing with our sponsorship. So any veteran that has PTSD, TBI, MST, or debilitating injuries, or is severely disabled, they're going to be able to come into the virtual world, into VWS, Save a Vet, Sponsor a Vet Life free of charge. There's not going to be any charge for those veterans. That's our main focal point, is to help those veterans. For our normal veteran who, is not receiving any disability from the VA or anything like that, we're going to open this up, a membership at $9.95 per month for our normal veterans. For a family of up to 4, including the wife and at least 2 children, just because of not capacity issues, but just monitoring issues. We don't want like 5 or 6 children running around in the world simultaneously, and the children have to be 12 years of age or older, because this environment that we're providing is protected. You have a password, a login. You're in our world. Nobody can come into our worlds, our regions. So for a family of 4, that would be $19.95. For our clients that are purchasing regions and environments and things like that to do e-commerce or e-learning, just like our Miami group down there, their avatar monthly fee is $19.95, and that's for non-military. And if they are military, it's $9.95. Also, we will have memberships. I mean, that's just the basic membership package, that we're talking about right there. But the big thing here is the cost for the veterans that are suffering from the PTSD, the TBI, the MST, and the severely disabled and debilitating injuries. That cost is being absorbed by sponsors, okay, and by companies, by businesses like Verizon and other companies that are becoming into the virtual world, not only providing opportunities for veterans to transition into jobs, but also providing training, maybe resume building, interview practices. I mean, right now, if you're watching Eileen, she's walking over there. She turns back around and looks the other way. You'll see our service center. And basically our service center is a place where companies will be able to set up nonprofit companies, for-profit companies. There it is right there. They'll be able to set up individual offices, and veterans as avatars, once they sign in to our services, sign into our location, will be able to go over there and meet with the various service vendors. They'll have their names and placards, on the outsides of the buildings. They'll be able to go in and have one-on-one conversations. They can also click a button and they can go into a webcam mode, so they could do interviews one-on-one, face-to-face through the webcam. It's mind-boggling. I mean, I could just blow you away with all of the things that, we're going to be offering here in the virtual world. I didn't even talk about the mall. I'll let you talk about that.
Okay, well, I'm going to back up a little with the service providers. So each of these rooms would be a specific service provider that would have videos about their service and documents and testimonials, and a rep from that company to explain, say that it's our one client that does a certification for Cisco networks, and they would explain how they get into the training program and how they get certified. So we'll have many different service providers here, counselors, therapists. We're going to have e-commerce where we can actually, when you're in this virtual world, you are able to go into stores. I can clone stores, make a brand new one for people, like say on Etsy, that they don't have a store, and you're able to see the products in 3D augmented reality. The person going into the store looking at a product can click on it and actually talk to a live sales associate that will come on webcam, like on the top right of the screen. They will show the live product from the webcam. The customer looking at it can purchase it through credit cards, PayPal, simultaneously, and get it delivered all while they're in world. We are also able to sell real life products. So say military caregivers, military spouses, they want to have a garage sale. So we would have a huge area, and the kids could come to this where they can take pictures. We need like 3 shots of different angles of an object that's going to be sold from real life, and we can have a garage sale. Some of our service providers have retail. They'll have their own region. They'll have their own store. And what did I forget here about e-commerce?
I think you.
So we're training people how to make objects, contents to sell in world. So there's people that actually make a living selling, making products, and it's not extremely difficult, but you have to go through training courses and selling the products like the clothes I'm wearing, the hair, the shoes. There are malls, thousands of malls, thousands of virtual worlds in every country. There is a translator that you type in an instant message English, and you pick what language you want it to translate in. We talk and hear one-to-one or in a group. I would be able to put in, say in this building, I could have as many floors as there are as separate service providers or say retail shops, and the conversation from this floor cannot be heard on that floor because we're able to parcel off. Michael said before about you're not hearing the sounds, like the birds, the seagulls are making sounds now. The waves, when you walk on a beach, you can hear the waves hitting the shore. We have meditation, we have yoga. Anything that will help support the veterans and their families and get them feeling in a good place. And you will watch, it takes an average of 1 to 2 days in our process for a very depressed veteran to start laughing. We had and I'm going to try to bring up the pictures. Let me just stop sharing. We did tell them about the event we did, please, Michael, while I look for the pictures.
The one that we did last
night, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we brought a lot of our veterans in that, are disabled and have PTSD. And we brought them down to our horse area. We've got a little horse area, stables down here on one side of the region where you can actually ride horses along the beach. We did a group photo, and of course, trying to get everybody lined up and, get the horses in the right direction and everything. It was very comical. But I can tell you that, since I've been in the program and since we've brought in a number of veterans that, were really, really hurting from a stress, depression standpoint, from a focus standpoint, just about every veteran that we've brought in the last 30 to 60 days now has gotten so into what we're doing and the process that they've actually turned from being a veteran in the program that has PTSD to being a volunteer or a co-marketer or, working part of the process to bring in more veterans or bring in businesses, to help us sponsor, our future vets. I'm telling you, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see someone so down, and then their main thing is, I want to help my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Share the screen here, and we forgot to actually have someone comment. Hang on, I'm sharing the screen again so they can see the pictures.
Yeah, and then of course, if you want to see it live, I'm down there riding a horse right now.
Yes, I will be there momentarily as soon as I share the screen and show them.
Okay.
I'm almost there.
All right.
So here's one where I was not sitting very ladylike. And there's our group behind us, and we're on the shore. And the reason we have horses is we're working with some nonprofits, horse rescues that use equine therapy for PTSD. And we're going to use this for pre-care and aftercare. So when they go back home, naturally they're not going to have a horse, but they're going to remember the feelings on the horse and what they learned. So it'll be re-emphasizing all that they learned and how the interaction with the horses helped them get out of a very bad place. The same with the therapy dogs. And let me get one more picture. Here's a scary picture of us. Kurt really needs a haircut, and here's us not knowing what we're doing all over the place as this guy sitting on the horse's rear end. Okay. All right. So I think I'm going to take them. How's our timing? I was going to take them to a college.
We've got about 15 minutes, but
why don't we? There was a person we didn't talk to. Who was it?
Well, we've talked to everybody that wants to talk this
Okay.
evening. I mean, we can open it up if Dorian has any questions. You can go ahead and unmute him and see if he has any questions. He may or may not.
Who was this, Dorian?
Yeah, Dorian.
Hello, Dorian.
Hi, this is Dorian DeWin.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm like a couple of the other people. I'm blown away by this whole thing. I'm still trying to separate the virtual world from reality.
Real. Yes.
Trying to understand it all, but I'm really, really impressed.
Thank you.
Especially by the fact that just a little while ago, somebody from Kabul was able to call in and participate. That's really, really
Yep.
impressive.
We could actually have that person in here with us.
Yeah.
Yes. So this horse is actually sleeping. He has not passed on. He's sleeping. And there's Michael on our horse. So we get on the horses and have the whole perimeter, the whole island has I'm trying to make a horse trail so we can do races all around. And even though, it may seem stupid and silly, everybody laughs. They have a good time. They really laugh, especially when, we do stupid things, which happens when you're an avatar, sitting upside down on a horse's head or something like that.
Well, a couple things, Dorian, that we've noticed about the program so far is you have veterans that are afraid to be in groups, and they really don't like group therapy and stuff like that. And we've found bringing them into this world slowly that in the virtual world, man, they totally, from the comfort of their home, on their computer, they totally open up. And the comfort level and their interaction with the other veterans is just amazing.
About how many participants do you have by now?
Well, like I said, we just opened in November, and we have about 25 to 30 people in the program right now. And most of the people that I've been bringing in, I've been doing through these demonstrations on Thursday night, okay?
Okay.
So what I do is I will personally reach out to everybody that was on the demo, the following morning. And if they're a veteran and they're suffering from PTSD or TBI or stuff like that, I try to bring those people into the program. And again, it's only if they want to come into the program, and so that's where, so it's been a kind of a slow process. And so that's why we're working with a couple of businesses and stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, here in February, me and Eileen are going to be doing some radio shows and really trying to get the word out.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go
I'll
ahead.
help you too.
I'm sorry we couldn't hear.
Okay, and I will try to help you also to
That
get the
would be
word out.
excellent, because I'll tell you, my biggest challenge and fear is that we know we can help and we can't get to enough veterans with PTSD fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're looking into radio and television and whatever way that we can get this out there. And we have a very high percentage of success. When I did this many years ago, the VA did a video and they distributed to all the VA hospitals. And that we weren't focusing on just veterans back then. So we've already proven the concept works, and now it's educating people and getting sponsorship, because this has been self-funded, mainly from me for the past year. Very painful, but I knew it would work, and it's going to explode. I have no doubts about that, and it's going to save many lives and change lives. With the business consultants coming in and working with the veterans, with the therapist helping, with the families being able to be together while the spouse is on active duty. And it's never ending. We have probably about 20 companies within the past 30 days that are interested in getting their own regions. I'm going to soon do a campaign amongst the top 20 banks that support hiring veterans, and have them help us with the sponsoring and to get word out to all of their customers what we're doing. We're going to go to schools and have each child give 50 cents a month so they can sponsor a vet and watch their improvement and watch their children enrolled. So lots of plans. We're just ramping up with volunteers because, again, this is self-funded. We had no capital, and it's going to work. Every one of us that is working on this has 100% belief. And
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'll get off
Thanks,
the
Dorian.
soapbox there. Okay. So what did we not go over? The showing them a college or the sports thing. We're going to have 20 regions where like Army plays against Navy football. So they'll all be avatars, and they can be male and female because they're not going to hurt each other. Wrestling rings, boxing rings, motorcycle races, car races.
And for our Second Amendment soldiers out there, we will also have shooting ranges.
Yes.
That's important.
Mm-hmm.
Eileen, we've got about 10 minutes left here. Why don't you go ahead and unmute Kyle and Denzel so they can ask any additional questions that they might have.
Okay, I'm going to unmute everyone. Okay, everyone's unmuted. I'm going to go to a university while we're talking.
Okay. Kyle, Denzel, you guys are free to ask any questions or provide any feedback or any concerns that you might have.
It's a little low. Go ahead. It took me 2 weeks to get my head around what I was looking at. So if you're a little overwhelmed or, you get it, but you don't get it, but you're starting to get it, it's completely normal.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand it. I mean, the idea behind it's amazing. I guess I'm at that point where I'm about to retire. I have eligibility to retire this year, and my biggest fear right now is finding a job because, I'm able to deal with stuff in the military set, but just the process of doing resumes right now and even applying for jobs is honestly scary.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost to the point now where I've thought about undoing my retirement for another 2 years just because of the fear of getting out.
Yes. Yeah. And that's an area that where you have a lot of strengths to help you in.
Yeah, that's a big fear, Kyle. I mean, I know exactly what you're going through, and it is. I mean,
So let me ask a question, Kyle. So if you had the opportunity to work from home, doing some type of remote work as a transition, I'm not saying this would be your final job, but you'd be able to feel more comfortable working in a civilian environment, working in a business, working with coworkers. Is that something that would interest you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just having, all the with it, just knowing that you're going to have a job takes that fear away of not having a job.
Exactly.
And just kind of being in an environment that doesn't cause you a lot of anxiety, which
Mm-hmm.
I get right now. Just, I had to, based off my last deployment, I had to quit doing a lot of stuff that I enjoyed. I used to be an MSF instructor. I used to race and teach track days.
Right.
And when I got back, I was unable to do that stuff because
Right.
it's the anxiety got to be too much.
Yep. Understand. We can help in all those areas, and we actually make it fun.
Yeah, definitely looks like it.
Yeah. And that's, it's positive reaffirmation, just positive, and supporting each other and being there 24/7 where you never feel you're alone again.
Yeah, and that's, I've had, obviously, I've had a lot of that, and just trying to get through those dark areas and then
Right.
like, okay, it's a new day, it's a new time, let's move on. But,
Exactly. Yep. Good. Well, I hope you join us, whatever you do. And we can put you in immediately. And what would happen is you would go into one of our chat rooms with only vets until you're comfortable. And everyone's wonderful. You will immediately feel comfortable being with them. And the only civilian allowed in there is me.
Oh, okay.
And they call me GG for General Granny, so that'll tell you my age. No comment, Michael.
No, I'm being nice. I mean, hey, I'm used to being called the old man.
See, well, I got you beat. All right.
No,
So,
Kyle, absolutely. Hey, look, Kyle, I'll be sending an email out tomorrow, and again, whatever you feel comfortable with, we can have a dialogue. Okay.
Excellent. I really appreciate you guys doing this. I mean, this
Yeah.
is something I think that's going to make a lot of difference in
Yes,
a lot
it
of
will.
people's lives.
I mean, just hearing what you're saying, Kyle, I mean, that's the same reaction we get out of everybody, but it's a trust factor, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I'm reaching out on Rally Point, because a lot more people are going to have confidence and trust in a full-bird colonel who
Mhm.
spent 37 years in the military. And I'm just trying to get people to feel comfortable, man. Hey, come on in, join the support group, meet other veterans that have gone through, the same experiences, the same things. We've all been deployed. We've lost people that we've loved. I mean, I can tell you a story, and not to freak everybody out, but my father-in-law, who's a Vietnam veteran, on December 8th, committed suicide just before Christmas. So I lost my father-in-law. My wife lost a father, and it reaffirmed my commitment that we've got to do something here. Besides providing medication and experimental drugs, to provide an environment that provides support, and it's veterans supporting veterans, and people working together to work through those issues. That's a little memorial that the sponsor of vet team put together for my father-in-law.
And it's in a private skybox, it's called. And Michael and his wife could just keep this privately for themselves. There's a picture of his father-in-law that'll come up here. And he had 8 dogs, so that's why you see dogs in here.
And 6 dogs.
Oh, sorry, 6. Who's the one with the 8? Okay, 6 dogs, so I only have up to 4 in here, I think, so far. And it's a place to go and have, when Michael's wife is ready, if she wants to, we can put pictures in here of the good times and the fond memories, and a place to feel close to her dad. And I wish this had been around when my parents passed. So, and the same thing we're doing the same thing for animals, I mean, there's no comparison between a parent, and an animal, but a lot of us go through a horrendous grieving process with animals, and we'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah. No, it's amazing because, like you guys said, it's a place that we can come to. And one of the other bad experiences, and I'm sure everybody else has had the same experiences, that when you're on active duty, and probably when you're a vet as well, that one of the first things they try to do is throw drugs at you. And
Yes.
They may work for some, but they don't work for everybody.
Right.
But it becomes a cookie cutter society. And the other thing that really upsets me is we sit here and we preach resilience and all these classes and stuff.
Right.
But I try to tell people on base, and they look at me weird, but I'm like, the likelihood of somebody attempting suicide on the duty hour, between 7 and 5, is unlikely, because you're forced to be around people, you're forced
Right.
to be social,
Mhm.
but you go home, you sit there, and it's those nights that you wake up at 2:00 in the morning with whatever going on,
Yes.
and you start to slide down that slippery slope, and
That's right.
who's there to catch you? You got to have that ounce of strength to pick up the phone, and
Right.
sometimes it's not there.
Right. And, that's the nice thing about our world. I mean, we plan on being open 24/7, 7 days a week. One of our team members is actually a Navy veteran who has moved to Australia. So we have Kurt. And so during the nighttime hours, since we've opened up, Kurt is available for all of our veterans. So if we have a veteran that, is just having a bad night, he knows that he can jump either on Skype or he can jump in World and, carry on a conversation and talk with somebody. And sometimes that's just really all it is, just talking, just having that conversation, man.
Yeah. That's right.
But having it with somebody who wasn't hired, that is a non-veteran, but having it with a veteran who's gone through those experiences is so important.
Right.
Yep. No, I agree, and I've been so frustrated right now with the times that I've gone to mental health, and I'm talking to a 23-year-old captain who just looks at me weird because he's never even seen the outside of a college, and now he's a captain in the Air Force, and
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't understand, have zero idea what happened while
Right.
you were over, you know, and it's just, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating.
Well, hopefully you can tell a lot of people, you know, because again, you know, that's our biggest challenge is getting the veterans in here to help them.
Well,
Yeah.
and make sure, Kyle, that they know they can come in anonymously, and make sure they know that it will not have any effect on their VA benefits. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's a big point
Yeah.
to make, because, yeah, that's a huge deal, and even active duty people, they don't want to, like you said earlier,
The stigma.
the stigma is right now, if I go to mental health and I unload everything,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the stigma is there that, you know, they may end my career with no benefits. They may try
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's,
Oh yeah.
but
I know.
that's what makes this really awesome. So
Yeah.
Okay, so this is why you don't want to go out in public in this virtual world.
It is what it is. You know.
Yes, and that's why we have private areas. So I was just
Right.
going to show you a health club here. That was a good example of why you don't go out in public. But the role playing is so critical. Like, say you have introverts, you know, going out to a nightclub together as a group. You know, it's like going out in real life, except you're not going to get drunk. You're just going to
Yeah.
have a good time.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Denzel, you're there in Kabul and everything. What are your thoughts? Any other feedback?
Well, like what Kyle said, everybody, when they are in the process of leaving, they have that anxiety of leaving a known for the unknown.
Right.
And I've been able to work with a few people who had that same scenario, and we came out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I had the same issues, but I worked through them with support. So without the support, it takes a longer time,
Mm-hmm.
and this safe environment seemed to be what a lot of people would need to get over that hump.
Right.
And it is all a win-win for me. I love it.
Great.
Super.
Wonderful.
All righty. Well,
All
hey,
right.
we certainly appreciate all of you taking the time. We like to limit it to 1 hour, and we appreciate the feedback. And like I said, I will be sending an email to all of you tomorrow in the morning. So please look for it. And I'll thank you again for attending and talk a little bit about the onboarding process. But for veterans, it's very, very quick and very, very easy, and it's not going to take a whole lot of work. So I'll walk you through it tomorrow in an email, okay?
Excellent.
Thank you for all you do.
Okay. Thank you. Hope to talk to you soon.
All right.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Arlene. It's been very enlightening, really.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Listen to the dogs. Let me mute myself.